Hello and welcome to Cycle. In our coming program, we will give you the latest news on the economy and politics in Mongolia. I'm your host, Daniel Rabatter. Last week marked a significant milestone for Mongolia's mining industry as the Oyu Tolgoi mine held its official opening ceremony for its underground mine. The opening ceremony, attended by government officials and mining executives, signifies the start of the operation's full-scale production of copper, gold and silver from beneath the Gobi Desert. The Oyu Tolgoi mine, operated by Rio Tinto, is considered one of the world's largest copper and gold mines and is expected to contribute significantly to Mongolia's economy in the coming years. Rio Tinto has begun underground production at the Oyu Tolgoi copper mine in Mongolia following a $7 billion expansion. Oyu Tolgoi is now set to become the world's fourth largest copper mine by 2030. Between 2028 and 2036, it is expected to produce enough copper annually to manufacture 6 million electric vehicles, around 500,000 tons. While the open-pit portion of Oyu Tolgoi has been successfully operating for more than a decade, the underground expansion was hampered by disagreements between the Mongolian government and Rio Tinto. These disputes were finally settled in January 2022 after the multinational waived a loan it provided to the Mongolian government. Following Rio Tinto's buyout of Turkish Hill, it now owns a 66% stake in the Oyu Tolgoi project, while the remaining 34% held by the Mongolian government. The occasion was marked by a visit from the Prime Minister of Mongolia, Oyun-Erdene, and Rio Tinto Chief Executive Jakob Stausholm. The pair ventured 1.3 km underground at the facility before attending a ceremony with employees and government officials. Oyu Tolgoi's underground mine is an important part of Mongolia's long-term development plan, Vision 2050. With steady operations, 500,000 tons of copper ore will be produced annually, and Mongolia's gross domestic product per capita will reach $10,000.
Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much for your words of encouragement to the whole of our team. I would like to thank you, thank you for your leadership and your cabinet for everything that you have done to make today possible and forged a strong partnership for the road ahead. Since I became CEO of Rio Tinto 2 years ago, I've spent a great amount of time focused on Oyu Tolgoi, and it has been the key focus of our copper chief executive, Bold Batar.
Oyu Tolgoi is expected to produce an annual average of 500,000 tons of copper from open pit and underground mining in 2028 through 2036, enough to produce around 6 million electric vehicles a year. Until today, we've been working on only 20% of Oyu Tolgoi's resources. Today, we are starting to work on the remaining 80% of its capacity. Extraction volume is expected to grow steadily.
Mongolia is becoming one of the world's key copper producers. The start of underground production at Oyu Tolgoi demonstrates our ability to work together with investors in a sustainable manner and become a trusted partner. So we attach great importance to this event.
Rio became Mongolia's biggest foreign investor in 2009 when it struck a 30-year deal to develop Oyu Tolgoi. Surface mining started in 2013, but the more lucrative underground project was log-jammed as lawmakers in the boisterous democracy repeatedly challenged Rio. Claims of foreigners pillaging the country's mineral wealth dominated election campaigns. Swings in global commodity markets and the COVID-19 pandemic didn't help either. A 2021 agreement for Rio to write off $2.4 billion of state debt was crucial for Stausholm, chief financial officer, until he was appointed to the top job in late 2020 to get to today's juncture. The company has already spent around $15 billion in Mongolia, including $4 billion of taxes or other payments to the state, Rio said. The government retains a 36% stake in Oyu Tolgoi, where some 80% of the value lies underground. Many of the world's open-pit mines are gradually expiring, while quality new resources like this one are getting harder to find. Mongolia will take a decision on which part of its territory will be used to construct the Russia-China gas pipeline once its neighbors reach an agreement on costs, the country's prime minister said. Russian energy company Gazprom is planning to build the 2,600-kilometer Power of Siberia 2 gas pipeline to supply 50 billion cubic meters of gas per year to China by 2030. Mongolian Prime Minister Oyu Tolgoi told Reuters on Tuesday the talks between its two big neighbors had been put on the back burner due to the Ukraine war, but there was a likelihood of them coming back to the negotiating table. After Russia and China decide on the pricing, Mongolia will decide on how they can use its territory to transport the gas, Oyun-Erdene said. Nearly 80% of Mongolia's total exports go to China, but the mineral-rich country is working to expand trade and mining relationships beyond China and Russia and hopes to become a bridge between Europe and Asia. We are discussing cooperation in the rare earth elements sector, having discussions with German and French sites on copper production and enhancing our private sector partnership with the Republic of Korea and Japan, Oyun-Erdene said. On Monday, the country started this long-delayed underground production at the Oyu Tolgoi project, in which it has a 34% stake, with Anglo-Australian miner Rio Tinto owning the rest. Oyun-Erdene said the Mongolian government was not looking to raise its stake in Oyu Tolgoi and was satisfied with the partnership. Oyu Tolgoi is slated to eventually produce more than 500,000 tons of copper a year and help Mongolia become one of the largest producers of the metal in the world. With mining accounting for a quarter of the country's GDP and around 93% of its exports, Mongolia is implementing reforms to safeguard its economy from volatility in commodities markets, the Prime Minister said. The government will start a sovereign wealth fund to cushion itself against raw material price volatility, diversify its economy, and invest more in building infrastructure and logistics. In February, the fourth economic policy dialogue between the United States and Mongolia took place in Washington, D.C. The focus of the bilateral meeting was on expanding trade and investment between the countries in critical minerals, clean energy, and digital economy. Despite establishing a strategic partnership in 2019, the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted economic activities between the two countries, resulting in a decrease in foreign direct investment for Mongolia. This indicates the need for Mongolia to diversify its investment opportunities with all third neighbors, including the United States. The two countries exchanged views on cooperation and emphasized the importance of advancing economic ties and strengthening their strategic partnership. The United States is not among the top destinations for Mongolia's mineral exports due to the distance and logistical challenges. However, there has been increasing interest in US investment in Mongolia's critical mining sector, which was highlighted in the recent economic agreement between Ulaanbaatar and Seoul. The successful renegotiation of the deal between the government of Mongolia and Rio Tinto also marks an improvement for Mongolia's dispute resolution process, which is crucial in attracting FDI. The second area in which Mongolia and the United States are set to cooperate is the development of clean energy. Renewable energy is an emerging market in Mongolia, and the establishment and implementation of such projects can help to solve major public health issues such as air pollution. The implementation of clean and renewable energy solutions can be a game changer for a country like Mongolia with a sparse population. However, there are some shortcomings on both sides. The United States Congress initiated the Mongolia Third Neighbor Trade Act in 2018 to boost bilateral trade, particularly in the export of textiles, cashmere and raw materials to the United States. However, 5 years later there is no sign of action. The Third Neighbor Trade Act has not moved since 2018, when it was referred to the House Subcommittee on Trade. Additionally, the trade balance between Mongolia and the United States has not been in favor of Mongolia since 2018. Despite these challenges, Mongolia and the United States continue to develop other areas of cooperation, such as signing a memorandum of consultations for the successful negotiation of an air transport agreement. Advancing economic ties with the United States is crucial for Mongolia's third neighbor foreign policy, which seeks to reduce Mongolia's dependence on China and Russia. Mongolia's escape from a mining-dependent economy is not realistic, so investment from its third neighbors, particularly strategic partners like the United States, will likely continue to take precedence. Now let's take a look at other economic news. In February 2023, the Bank of Mongolia purchased 701.2 kilograms of precious metals. Bank of Mongolia branches in Darkhol and Bayonghongor provinces bought 78.8 kilogram and 139.8 kilogram of precious metals, respectively. The Bank of Mongolia sets the purchase price of precious metals based on the global market price. As of February, the average purchase price was 209,784 MNT. Well, that's all for this episode of Cycle. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you next time.